Hi, this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Review. Well, let me just spend a quick minute with you and talk to you about the harsh reality of real retirement returns and the impact of that reality that many boomers, many of you have shared with me now that I've done this for over 20 years, of getting stability, security, and safety in the market because people have experienced in the last 20 years 50% losses, and most of us twice. Now, our clients haven't, and you can avoid the same. And here's why this is so important. There's a lot of artificialness going on, right? In other words, our markets are reporting a lot of things where Enron would go to people with Enron would go to prison for kind of fuzzy math, right? And as one article said, artificial is okay when it comes to sweetener, but it's not okay when it comes to people's retirement, right? You can't cook the books on reality. One of those realities just came out this past week. I talk about on Hidden Wealth Radio. And it's a study by the Bar organization, and they report the prior 20 years average equity investor return. And many would be surprised by this, but the average equity investor return for the prior 20 years, and it's been a tumultuous 20 years to say the least, right? 2001 and 2, the market lost 50%. Things just get back to even in 07, and whammo, 2008 hits, and people lose almost 40, 50, some people as much as 70% again. And what this is pointing out is the S&P's done something it hasn't done in 32 years, and it's already up over 18%, is that eventually the bull run's going to stop, right? And we know two things. We know that what goes up eventually has to come down, but it's not to have to sacrifice by playing it too safe. We see a lot of people playing it too safe. They're either way overexposed or way under, but to get a 3.88% 20-year average return for the average investor, and that's those of you I'm speaking to, if you really look at the real math before inflation's average 2.17. That takes that down to 171. And then you add back fees. And then for most of those accounts, they haven't been taxed yet, folks. That's about a 1% real retirement reality return. Folks, that's not going to get it done. And I want to teach you that you can have upside without downside, and you can engineer a proven vehicle with a track record of performance, of outperforming the market, regardless of these very beneficial gains we've had, to not be remiss and be saddened by somehow all of a sudden now the picnic is rained out and all of a sudden we've given all those gains back. I want to teach you how you can lock those gains in, never be at risk of giving them back, and avoid two of the greatest threats to retirement, which is the risk to low returns because of a very volatile stock market, right? So risk of stock market losses as well as tax losses. So I'm going to be teaching this coming Tuesday. In fact, it's an complimentary educational wealth protection webinar where I'll teach you one strategy that allows you to grow your money without tax, use it without tax, and pass it on without tax. And I know a lot of you that I've been helping are north of 70 and a half, and you've got these RMDs from these IRAs, right? These required distributions the government forces you to start to take out. Well, now the government wants to force your children, when you're gone, to have to liquidate those accounts in under 5 years. In fact, it's already passed the Senate. So folks, more tax is coming. In fact, you turn on any major news network and that's all they're talking about is tax. This tax, that tax, and another. But nobody's talking about the artificialness that's going on out there, about the numbers, these quarterly earnings reports, and how they can cook the books, so to speak, and still get away with it and give people a false positive sense of security when you can have that by designing it for yourself. Simply go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com and register. It's logging on and learning. It's not somewhere you have to drive and go to. You can log on and learn in the comfort of your living room, but it's taking the time to get educated and becoming aware of something that you've never been made aware of before, and ultimately doing it one of the most important times in our retirement history, because we've had this massive run up, especially with Trump in office, but eventually, especially going into an election year, this next coming up year, you've got the top Nobel Prize winning portfolio managers that we use that have already cut their risk in half because of the historic volatility that happens going into an election year. Now's the time to cut risk, but regain or retain your returns and redefine your retirement. Retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com.